Okay, in this clip, we're now going to take a look at the automatic method for hopefully removing some of these bad tracks. Now, this is actually relatively easy to do. All we have to do is come over here to the Auto Tracks tab, and in here, we can actually play with the minimum length, max track error, and max error over here. So you can also visualize any of these if you'd like and come to max error over here, max track error, and you can see we can represent them as graphs. You can also kind of zoom in on these and things like that. However, there's no real reason for us to do that. We're going to treat this kind of very generically. We're going to basically watch in a 3D view here and judge how many tracks are disappearing and which ones. So for example, the minimum length now is 15, which means any track that's at least 15 frames long is being used. But what if I want to increase this to maybe 20? You can see when I hit enter, it begins removing some of the tracks that are now less than 20. Can take it even higher to maybe 25. You can see it starts eating away even more of those tracks. I'm not going to go that low just yet. I'm going to say maybe 22. And now let's take a look at the max track error as well as the max error. So right now, max track error is at 4.19. Let's see if we reduce that to 3. You can see several points have been removed. I can even try perhaps 4. No, sorry, I had to go backwards. 2 is what I was thinking. That's actually removing quite a bit, and you can especially see that here. A lot of points are starting to go away. Let's not do that yet. Let's go to maybe 2.5. And for the max error, let's also try dropping this to maybe 6 or possibly even 5. That's not too many. So let's go ahead now and actually make this stick. We basically have to come down here and hit delete rejected to get rid of those rejected points. So go ahead and click that. Let that delete. It'll take just a moment. See, not yet. Okay, there we go. It's deleted them. And it's already giving us a basic idea of what our error might be. In this case, 1.59. And that's really good. That's bringing us really close to the 1.5 that would be ideal. And honestly, I was going to be fine with it just below 1.6. So this is not for sure yet. We do need to resolve this first. So let's go ahead and resolve this and see what we actually have. So I'll go through here, resolve, and I'll be back in just a moment. Okay, so back, and not only did we end up with a great result, our error is now 1.49, so actually below 1.5, but not only that, it took less time than before. It was averaging kind of like just under 10 minutes. This one took about 6 minutes. So we do have a much better result. There are still some points you can see that kind of stick out in areas that maybe aren't correct, something like that over there. And we could try to continue to improve this. So just for the sake of seeing if maybe we can get a better result, I'm going to continue. Now, a lot of the changes we're going to make by deleting these are sometimes undoable. So my suggestion would be to save if you got a good result. For example, I have this. I did save it already. So just in case perhaps my results start to go the other way and get worse, I can always come back to this file. So let's go back to Auto Tracks and let's see. For example, I can bring the minimum length maybe up to 28. So yeah, I lost more points, but hopefully the points that remain are going to be even better quality. So I'm also going to try to drop my max track error. Let's try maybe 2.5 here, maybe even 2. That seems too much. Let's try 2.2. That seems okay. And the overall max error, let's try dropping to 5. That didn't delete much. Let's say 4. 4.5. Okay, so that's going to remove just a little bit more. So once again, I'll hit delete rejected. Right there. You can also hit delete unsolved, but I don't think I actually have any unsolved points in here. Again, they'd show up as kind of a yellowish orangish color. So you can see initially it's thinking we're going to drop to 1.41. Hopefully that is what we get. That's a great result. So let's see what we get. I'm going to go ahead and resolve, and just like before, we'll be back in just a moment. Okay, back yet again, and things are getting better and better. We're now down to 1.4, and I think I'm going to be happy with that. You can also see the shape of the head has really kind of come together. Yeah, we still have some stray points here and there. For example, this one here, which I could go through and delete. But honestly, I think it's not really affecting the solve at this point. Uh, don't expect to get absolutely perfect results. Again, this is actually more of just kind of a byproduct of the tracking kind of process to begin with. This is not photogrammetry or anything like that. So the other thing was that that's solved this time in only 3 minutes, actually a little bit less. And that tells me that the results are getting more accurate because if everything just kind of comes together and flows, there's less erroneous points, it can solve much faster. If it takes a long time, that's because there's a lot of kind of mismatching data it has to sort through. So we're going to go ahead and leave this here. And we're going to come back in the next clip and take a look at how we can now perhaps move this solve a little bit closer to center over here. It doesn't really matter too much that it's all the way off, to the side or to the back technically. But once we go into Maya, it's going to be a little bit easier to have it here towards center. And actually, even just doing things like lighting and nuke, it's always nicer to have things closer to the origin. So take a look at that in our next clip.